Welcome back. It has emerged as one of the most controversial parts of the MAGA immigration crackdown. But the so-called Alligator Alcatraz detention facility could be empty within days. According to an email exchange obtained by our affiliate NBC6 in South Florida, a top Florida official said the facility in Florida's Everglades will soon have 0 individuals. That email was to a rabbi aiming to provide chaplaincy services at that facility. The details revealed just days after a federal judge ordered this facility to wind down operations within 60 days. Last night, she rejected another request to keep it open while Florida officials and the Trump administration appealed the decision. Meanwhile, lawyers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia are making a new bid for his freedom, asking an immigration court to grant him asylum. It's the latest in the legal battle for the Salvadoran man wrongfully deported to Venezuela back in March, deported to El Salvador, that is, and then he was returned to the U.S. to face federal charges. And Abrego's cases are now playing out in 3 different courts. Besides the asylum case, there's another federal judge considering his push to block a deportation order to Uganda, while he still faces the federal smuggling case in Tennessee. His lawyer, Simon Sandoval-Moshenberg, is joining us now. Simon, thank you so much for being with us. Mr. Abrego had applied for asylum before and was denied. Can you walk us through your argument that he deserves it now?
He did. He applied in 2019, and the sole reason that he was denied at that time is that he failed to apply within 1 year of his arrival in the United States. Instead, he was granted a lesser form of protection called withholding of removal, which prohibited him from being removed to El Salvador, but not to any other country. And that's why we are where we are right now, with them threatening, Uganda, or after Uganda, who knows what's going to be next. Well, as of now, he's certainly within 1 year of his latest arrival in the United States. So for that reason, he's filed a new application for asylum with the immigration court in Baltimore.
White House border czar Tom Homan spoke about Abrego's case on Fox last night. Let's listen to this.
He will be deported from this country. I got my teeth in this thing. I'm not letting it go. As far as the story now, he's going to claim asylum. First of all, he's beyond the required 1 year. He's been here longer than that, so he should be able to qualify for asylum. And if the judge rules on the law is about asylum seekers. You got to be escaping fear and persecution from your home government because of race, religion, and political affiliation. Well, he's not going to his home country, right? So he's going to either Uganda or any other country we decide to send him to.
Simon, he says Abrego will be deported, full stop. And we mentioned there are a few different judges and courts involved in Abrego's story at this point. The immigration judge who would determine his asylum claim works for the DOJ. So is there any chance he'll win this claim?
I have to hope that they're going to give him a full and fair trial. We really do hope that Attorney General Bondi, who does supervise all of the immigration judges in the United States, does not put her finger on the scale of, any asylum trial and any proceedings. There is the right of review. If he's denied, he'll have review to the U.S. federal courts. And I think if she does put her finger on the scale and give him a sham trial or a show trial in the immigration court, I don't think the Court of Appeals is going to take too kindly to that on review.
A separate judge has already blocked his deportation to Uganda until at least October, right? So can you talk about what you're preparing for in that case?
That's right. As recently as a week ago, they were, talking about sending him to Costa Rica, which is a country where Costa Rican government has actually offered him refugee status. So he would be able to remain there with guarantees that he won't be, sent, that he won't be incarcerated, he won't be sent on to El Salvador. Now, all of a sudden, this week, they're saying we're going to send you to Uganda, a country which has offered no such guarantees whatsoever, right? And a country which is, I'll be honest with you, we're going to put up a knockdown, drag-out fight to prevent him from being sent to Uganda. So the district judge in Maryland has prohibited his deportation to any country. She's reviewing, the procedures and the due process under which these so-called third country deportations are taking place. And she has prohibited him from being removed from the United States pending sort of the evidentiary hearing in her courthouse, which is going to be in early October.
You have been working on Abrego's case for months without actually even talking to him or seeing him because he was in that El Salvadoran prison. What does he make of the level of attention to his case and the resources of the federal government that they've dedicated to deporting him?
Yeah, Mr. Abrego Garcia is someone who kind of understood himself to have all of his immigration problems behind him after he won his case in 2019 for withholding of removal. So for him to get arrested, his car pulled over and arrested by ICE agents in March was obviously very surprising. But then within less than 3 days to be put on a plane to El Salvador and then locked up in the most notorious torture prison, the CICOT prison in the Western Hemisphere, he had no idea. He was completely incommunicado. He didn't even know if people knew where he was, right? Much less, that there were people fighting for his release, not just in courthouses, but on the streets of every city of the United States. He had no idea. His first inkling of any of that was when all of a sudden he's being pulled out of a jail to meet with a United States senator. And then all of a sudden he's brought back, and then he's released and he gets to go home to his family, but it just lasts a weekend and then he's taken into custody again. The government put out some video of essentially kind of like a perp walk of Mr. Abrego Garcia being walked to the elevator as he was arrested. And he said two words. He said, "Gobierno corrupto," which is Spanish for corrupt government. I hate to say it, but I pretty much agree with him in terms of their handling of this case.
Simon Sandoval-Moshenberg, appreciate you joining us and providing those updates. Please do stay close in touch. And much more in our next hour of Ana Cabrera Report.